Hello, everyone. We hope everyone is doing great today. Today, I will be addressing those of us who believe in God. And if you're reading or listening to this and don't believe in God but choose to continue reviewing this information, then perhaps you can agree that all existence flows out of the same energy source. And when we take a close look at ourselves, all life and existence, we learn something about that source. The points I discuss here are for the purpose of sharing my ideas and discoveries with those who show an interest in my work. I simply do not know all the facts and answers because I'm still in the discovery mode and not fully conscious of everything. As I've stated before, it is easy to mislead others by our own beliefs, and it is easy to be misled by the beliefs of others. But we can all discover together. We can become more conscious. We can share our findings and what we have found to work for us in our own life and in the lives of others. So for the purpose of expressing my findings, please understand I may state that something is one way or the other based on my observations or discoveries. But no one can claim to know the whole truth. Even though observation, experience, along with trial and error, has me convinced that something is so, does not make it so. I have been surprised and sometimes shocked when a whole new perspective is revealed to me. It is always important to remain conscious, let go of expectations, overcome ego and fear when we are searching for treasure. So with that said, today I would like to discuss discovering our unconditional treasures. Now, we are all unconditional within, but fear keeps us from being conscious of it. Fear keeps us from fully expressing our unconditional qualities within us. No matter how deeply we look, all creation is God. When we peer into the lens of a microscope or a telescope, do we not marvel at the wonders we see? A bird singing in a tree, a beautiful landscape, a sunset, or a meadow randomly decorated so eloquently with flowers. We feel something in us when we gaze at the beauty of it all. It's all God. All of it. Everywhere. It's God. We are all born with the same identical divine treasures and gifts. In that way, we are all identical. There is no partiality. But what makes us completely unique is how we individually and beautifully express the divinity within us. These divine gifts are God within us, waiting to be discovered. That discovery depends on our level of consciousness. Contrary to popular belief, trust, love, and respect are not earned. They are learned. They are unconditional. We all are unconditional love, joy, trust, which is faith, peace, kindness, mastery, which is self-control, goodness, endurance, and beauty. There is no one that lacks these divine treasures within. Then why don't we live in a better world? Well, that's due to unconsciousness. It's due to fear. From birth, we are programmed by the ego and fear-based system to become unconscious, to be afraid, to be a slave, to look outside self for happiness and security instead of within. So it would be rare to find someone who is totally conscious and is able to express the above divine treasures unconditionally. However, someone may experience a certain degree of unconditional from time to time, and it's quite an experience that can profoundly affect us. But because of unconsciousness, fear has a grip on most of humanity. So an attempt to be our true unconditional self, the way we were made to be, is going to take us way out of our comfort zone. For example, someone could sit back and preach unconditional love in their comfortable little world, in their comfy little chair, all they want. And that kind of includes me. I could do the same thing. But to go out and try it and be in a situation that demands us to go way out of our comfort zone can be a frightening and even a traumatic experience. Believe me, I've tried it and I've often failed. And to illustrate this, have you ever walked with a friend through a dark, depressing period of their life? Perhaps they are homeless, addicted to a substance, have cancer, or are suffering from other afflictions in life. It can get scary and uncomfortable really fast, with one struggle complicating another struggle. You will get caught up, participating in the struggle with them. Their experience will become your experience. Their expenses will become your expenses. You will be exposed to the karma and judgment that occurs from choices one makes in an unconscious state. You will feel firsthand the effects ego has on a human being. Your friend may be looking outside self for someone to make them happy, to solve their problems for them, and never be able to find it. What will you do then? Will you become so afraid, so gripped by fear, that you run away? And if you do run away, will you feel sad about that and come back? Will you stick by their side, helping them to regain consciousness, help them to discover their inner beauty and the divine treasures within, help them see that happiness and joy are already there inside them? Will you help them remove the clutter in their life so they can once again be free to resonate in tune with divine universal frequency? Can you go that far out of your comfort zone, perhaps to the point of putting your own life in danger for them? Sometimes we do all that, and the friend still complains that we just haven't done enough for them, or perhaps even accuses us of making their life worse. What will you do then? How unconditional are you going to be now? Go through this, come back, and then let's talk about unconditional. It has been written that no fear can exist in pure, unconditional love and qualities. If you are gripped by fear, then you are not fully conscious of your unconditional love. You haven't fully discovered your divine treasures within. Fear is the tell. Fear is the litmus test and the proof whether you are fully conscious or not. If you are afraid, then you have not discovered your true unconditional self yet. But don't beat yourself up too bad, because that too causes clutter. That too comes from fear. And most humans rarely ever experience unconditional anything, because the system keeps us in a state of unconsciousness. Perhaps they get a glimpse of what is unconditional, of what it feels like, and it is a wonderful feeling for sure. But when unconsciousness returns and fear kicks in, the feeling soon fades away. We can pray and beg to not be afraid, but wouldn't it be better to pray that we discover and become conscious of our inner unconditional self? Because until we do that, we will always be a slave to fear and ego. Until we become master over our divine treasures and gifts, being able to express them perfectly, we will always have some degree of fear. Love is a beautiful quality, and we all show love. Even in this fear-based, ego-based system, we see love shining out from people all the time. Imagine what it'll be like when we become fully conscious of our unconditional self, of unconditional love, unconditional trust, unconditional joy. They are all the reality of God that resides within us. All we have to do is remove the clutter in our life, release and let go of the distractions and the mental noise that has enslaved us. Even let go of expectation, because it is our expectations of ourselves and others that causes the most clutter in our life that causes us to judge others. So it is very crucial to let go of expectation. Once you do, you will be free to resonate in tune with divine universal frequency. And at a later date, I'll get into that. I'll get into what it means to resonate to divine universal frequency. But if we can free ourselves and resonate, that in turn will unlock the beautiful divine treasures within us for all to see. Endless gifts that you can share with others. You will be filled with gratitude and happiness. Fear will no longer have dominion over you. Only then can we be free to experience fully a state of unconditional